Okay, here I go. So yesterday, at approximately 10 p.m., I got to see Fantastic Four, the new one. And boy, do I have some stuff to say about it. First, let's look at the cast and crew. Behind the camera, you got Josh Trank, a great director. You got the cast of Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, Toby Kebbell, that one guy from Snowpiercer. What was his name? I do not know. But anyways, if you want to know what this movie's about, it's about four drunk people that decide to go against their supervisor and go into this parallel universe where they can collect resources that'll bring the Earth back to where it's supposed to be. Now, before we get into any little details, let me do a little history lesson, alright? Behind the camera, you got Josh Trank, who did Chronicle, and this is a freaking awesome movie. I really love it. It's great, okay? And you got Miles Teller, who did Whiplash. Everybody loves that movie. Michael B. Jordan in 2013 did Fruitvale Station, which should have been nominated for an Oscar, I think. I think it should have been nominated for an Oscar. Kate Mara, who's in House of Cards. I don't watch that show. Whatever. Jamie Bell is also in this movie, and he was in Snowpiercer for about 45 minutes. It's great. Lastly, you got Toby Kebbell, who played Koba in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and that is a very good villain. This movie does not do the villain right, though. But we'll get into that later, alright? Okay. I forgot what to say next. Okay, here we go. Now, if you know me, you know I really like the Fantastic Four, alright? I really like the comics, even the Ultimate Edition. I liked the game as a kid, but I really freaking hate the movies. They really suck. As a matter of fact, when I got home from the movie yesterday, I looked at the old one in the face and I said, "You should die," and then I ripped it in half. I destroyed it. I don't own it anymore. The first problem with this movie is it does the opposite of what Transformers 4 does. I'm not saying Transformers 4 is a good movie, and this is a bad movie, or this is a good movie, and that's a bad movie. I'm saying that Transformers 4 was 5 minutes of setup, it was 5 minutes of exposition, and then it was 95% of explosions and Michael Bay. Then you got this movie, and this movie is the complete opposite. It's all set up. It's 95% exposition, and you're just like, ugh. And then at the very end, it's like, little fight, like 5%, and then it's over. Okay. What's bad about this movie is the script, okay? Simon Kinberg is a great writer. He wrote my favorite movie last year, which was X-Men Days of Future Past. But this script really sucks nuts. You know why? Because in X-Men Days of Future Past, when it was supposed to be boring, it was fun. When it was supposed to be fun, it was still fun. This movie is boring when it's supposed to be boring, and it's boring when it's supposed to be fun. And that is one of the many other problems with this movie. Don't even get me started on the third act, okay? We have seen bad third acts. We've seen The Amazing Spider-Man 2. We have seen Spider-Man 3. We have seen bad third acts, but this is truly the worst third act I have ever seen. The next problem with this movie is the villain. Now, when they introduced Victor Von Doom, I wasn't like, oh gosh, this is awful, internet hacker, oh, he should rule Latveria. I wasn't like that. I'm open to new ideas, okay? I like new ideas. It didn't work in the old movies, so I'm open to it in this movie. Now, when they introduce him, I'm like, okay. But when he turns into Doom, I was like, crap, no. Because I liked the first half of this movie. I turned to my friend and I was like, wow, everybody said this movie sucks, but it's not that bad. And he was like, yeah, okay, it's not that bad. And then I saw Doom and I was like, this movie sucks. And he's like, yeah. I'm going to spoil something here because you're not going to see the movie. When they go back to the Planet Zero or whatever, go get him. He's sitting there and he's all injured and he's like, and then they get him and they take him back to Earth and then he wakes up and then he's like walking through the halls and I'm like, you're not injured, you're okay. And he's like blowing up everybody's brains just by like looking at him and going. And I was just like, no. And then he zooms back to his world and he creates this portal that makes a black hole in Earth and it all happens in like 5 minutes and then they fight him and it's the most rushed third act I have ever seen in my entire life, okay? And the last thing I want to talk about is the scale of this movie. I'm going to go back to when I said that he builds some black hole thing. And you don't feel the danger of this movie because it doesn't show Earth being destroyed. It shows it for like 5 seconds. A little like tree like goes up into the black hole and you're like, wow, I wonder if Earth's okay. But they're too busy showing the stupid fight versus Doom. And it takes like 4 seconds. And the ending is so rushed and I hate it so much. And I can't stand it. I'm never going to see this movie ever again. There is one thing I like about this movie though. When they first get their powers, there's a sci-fi horror element to it. When Reed Richards is like crawling like you see in the trailer, and he's like, he has a bloody face, and he has that spacesuit on, and then he turns around, and his legs are like caught in this like piece of metal, and they're all stretched out. It's like 30 yards of stretched out legs, and he's just, you can see like the terror on his face, and he's like, but that's it. But besides that, this movie is a pile of crap. I'd probably give it a 3.5 out of 10. But before I go, what I didn't know about this movie before I shot this video is that Josh Trank actually got screwed by Fox. Yes, that is true. Fox completely wiped out his vision of everything he wanted to do. They wiped out his ideas. They agreed to do something, and then they came in days before they started shooting, and Fox just wiped everything out. And I feel sorry personally for Josh Trank. I think he's a good filmmaker. I think he's probably a really great guy. I think he deserves another shot with another studio, not with Fox, because he tweeted that he just tweeted that really dumb tweet. But I would have done the same thing because I have a low temper. So anyways, guys, that's a wrap. And like, subscribe. I mean, I'm not going to make another video unless you guys request. So if you want to request, do that. Thanks. That's all I got. And yeah, see you later.